Greetings, Benjamin J. from BENZTRAINZ with another in the series. Well, of course, what you're looking at is some nasty, rusty track. And I went through a couple boxes and I pulled out the worst track that I had. And just going to put 4 of these in a pan. As you see, just covered in rust. So, we're going to derust it just like we did the other parts using vinegar. But this time we are using white vinegar because it is not quite as odorous. So this is what we're using. Distilled white vinegar. And as you see, still 5% acidity. Now this is really, really cheap. $2 for a gallon of it. So I'm going to submerge this in the vinegar and let it set for 24 hours. Now I've just got a small glass Pyrex pan to do this with. So it's really straightforward. You don't have to scrape it. You don't have to rub it. You don't have to oil it. You don't have to do anything to it. And you open the vinegar and you pour it in to the pan and completely submerge this track. All right, and that is all we have to do to it. Now, it'll take a full 24 hours to get this rust off of here. But the nice thing about this is once you've derusted it, this is not just derusting the pins and the track, it's also derusting the holes where the pins plug into. So once this is derusted and you neutralize the acid, rinse it off and dry it, this will run as well as any modern track. You'd be surprised. Track that is dead as a hammer, that will not run at all. And you submerge it in vinegar for 24 hours and come back to it, deactivate the acid, dry it off, plug it in, and it will run virtually like new. So really, really straightforward. The nice thing about it is you don't have to do anything to it at all. You just let it set. So I'll just put this out of the way, someplace probably under the table. And this doesn't smell nearly as bad as apple cider vinegar. You can see it's bubbling. And this acid has a real, and this is acetic acid, and has a real affinity for iron oxide. It attacks it, but it doesn't attack the steel. It just attacks the oxide. Now, this is going to take the paint off of the ties. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of paint left on these ties, but it won't affect the insulator on the center rail. And that is it. You just basically wait and see how much of the rust has been removed. You may have to do it twice. It depends on how thick this rust is. But it's really straightforward. And of course, the nice thing about it is you don't have to do anything. There's no rubbing, scraping, buffing, wire wheel, none of that stuff. You just let it set for 24 hours in this white vinegar, and the acetic acid will just strip all of this oxide off the track. It's still going to be discolored when it comes out of there, but it will have good electrical connection again because all of the rust is gone, not only from the outside, but also from the inside. So it'll derust the pins, excuse me, it'll derust the holes the pins plug into. So all we do now is wait, excuse me, like I said, I'm going to give this a full 24 hours. It is currently 6 o'clock on Monday. So 6 o'clock on Tuesday, tomorrow, we will pull this out and see how we've done. If it needs to be derusted more, then we'll just drain the acid, refill it, and give it another day. So it's really straightforward. It's really simple. It's inexpensive. It's easy. No muss, no fuss. You don't have to scrub it or scrape it or do anything else to it. I just wanted to do a quick video on how you do this. And just use a shallow pan. And depending on how much track you have is the size pan you're going to need. And it works. It works really, really well. And you've seen the results on several things that I've derusted. That rear truck was derusted this way. Those wheels were derusted this way. So it's really simple to do it. And all you have to do is pour it, put it aside, and wait for the acid to eat the oxide. So I just want to do a quick video on this. Again, this is going to be part 1. And tomorrow, same time, 6 o'clock, we'll pull this out and see how we did. If it needs to be soaked some more, we'll just pour this vinegar off and refill it and let it set for another 24 hours. It really depends on how deep this oxide goes. A lot of times this stuff is actually beginning to etch the steel. For example, here, you can see that is really, really thick, really thickly built up on this steel. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But I just wanted to do a quick video on this so you can see the process. It's really simple and it really works. You can take some nasty old track, soak it in vinegar, 24 hours later, it's usable. And it usually runs almost like new because you've got all the oxide off of it. So I just want to do a quick video. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email, BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.